HQ Greensboro is a place where entrepreneurs can get their start. They can find support. They can talk to other entrepreneurs who are experiencing the same challenges and the same successes that they are. It is also now a place for university students. In fact, 7 university students are taking part in a very unique program housed here. Christopher Gergen is one of the founding partners of ThinkHouse U and HQ Greensboro. Where did this idea come from?
So ThinkHouse U is connected to an effort that we have in Raleigh, connected to HQ Raleigh, which is a 7-bedroom living learning community called ThinkHouse. And it's for early career entrepreneurs who have graduated from college, working on their entrepreneurial ideas. They live in the house for 10 months. And so we thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to create a similar concept, but for undergraduates who are developing a set of entrepreneurial ideas, but need some more support system. So we partnered up with UNCG and North Carolina A&T to conceive of ThinkHouse U.
And why do you think it's important to start kind of fostering these ideas and these processes when they're still in school?
Because there's so many creative ideas that they already have. And if you can create a platform and a space for them to more fully develop them, then you have 2 things that begin to emerge. One is that you increase their confidence significantly. So you start to validate the fact that pursuing an entrepreneurial path is actually a legitimate path to consider as a young person, not a message that you always hear. The second is not only are you increasing their confidence, but you're also increasing their competence. And so giving them the kinds of skill sets that they need, the connections that they need to be able to translate a set of ideas into action. So those are the 2 principal things that we try to get accomplished with ThinkHouse U.
Okay, and so how do you kind of bring that into actionable steps and really making it happen for these students?
Yeah, so the first is around making sure that you're curating a really terrific group. So you're looking for young men and women who have an idea that just can't get it out of their mind and really want to put it into action.
Stephanie McGill is a senior at UNCG, and she is part of the ThinkHouse U project, I guess we should call it. What is your idea for a business, and how did you get started?
I plan to open a coffee shop here in Greensboro, locally owned. Locally, everything is derived locally. And it's really to employ college students and be able to get them into the workforce and with some experience behind them. And also it's to help out the community. There's a lack of drive-throughs. There's a lack of efficiency, especially on West Wendover. So it's really to fill that gap.
And so really the idea is not just a normal coffee shop, not brick and mortar, walk in and get a cup of coffee. This is only drive-through, right?
Correct. It's drive-through only. I'm not opposed to expanding to brick and mortar, but I feel that there's more of a necessity and more of a different culture in just a drive-through.
Why is this something you're so passionate about?
I've always loved coffee. I worked for another coffee company for a while too, and it's really where I developed my passion. But also working in the community, the coffee community with baristas, it's enjoyable. You get to make something that's artistic. It really speaks to who you are. And employing college students is a very big passion of mine. I'm a current college student who is looking for employment. And it's been a struggle if you don't have any prior experience. So that's really where this came from.
Wes Rowe is a junior at North Carolina A&T, part of the ThinkHouse U program, and he's created his own clothing line, or the starts of it, I guess we should say, Ariane Victor, right?
Yeah, it's called Ariane Victor, and it's a high-end, ready-to-wear fashion line with the intent to become a couture house.
Okay, so what got you interested in fashion? Where did you start?
Well, I got my interest in fashion from simply wanting to, talk to people through my clothing, and I wanted the aspect of being able to evolve what we know as fashion today, as far as the silhouettes and as far as the color and the trends that we look at in fashion.
So has this always been a passion since you were a little kid?
Yeah, I used to always dress up with, Gucci and Versace, so
wow.
it just always, interested me to be a high-end fashion designer or a couturier.
And you watch the fashion shows and read all the magazines?
Yeah, New York and Paris.
Okay, so what makes your style different?
What makes my style different is the fact that the gold interior that I have with my clothing is intended to show the golden age of what our generation that we live in, and it's entailed to promote signature shine and bold image that captivates the world that we live in, which is, high-end fashion, signature shine in the look, as well as the patterns, the way the clothes look.
All right, can you want to show us a little bit? Kind of show us what you mean from what you've done here.
Okay. So, what makes this high-end is this is real leather, and the gold thread is, and that's all I would ever use on my clothing is gold thread. I have a gold horse. That means, signature shine, bold image, as well as the diamond that represents purity and uniqueness, and the sun represents fame, fortune, and godly presence. And the 3 represents any trinity of beliefs that someone believes in, to give it the general aspect of it being able to be relatable to everybody in the world.
The criteria by which we screen and curate this community is really important. When we bring them into the program, they get a couple of things. One is they get active mentorship, technical assistance, and support and coaching to be able to help them, again, take this idea and really translate it into a set of action steps and a practical reality of how do you put together a budget? How do you go sell this idea? How do you make sure that you're plugging into the right kinds of ideas and right kind of people along the way? And so we have Justin from UNCG, who provides a lot of additional support. We have a strategist in residence for HQ that we bring in to help support these students. All of them have access to the HQ Greensboro community as well as our broader HQ community. So we also have HQ Raleigh and HQ Charlotte. So they have access to over 300 companies as part of our broader platform who are doing some interesting things, and investors, et cetera. So we try to bring our broader resources to bear to be able to help, again, them take several steps forward over the course of the year that they live in the ThinkHouse, so that by the time they graduate, they've got a really much better sense of whether this idea that they're working on is going to see it all the way to reality, or if there's another idea that they're starting to cook on, then it gives them at least the ability to know, here's how I would take that idea forward.
How has ThinkHouse U kind of helped you to foster that company and help it grow?
Well, ThinkHouse U has been just really supportive, and I volunteered here at HQ Greensboro for a while, and I've been at Collab and Flywheel in Winston, and I've seen a lot of students who are just like me, entrepreneurs who try to get their foot in the door, but they don't have that previous experience, and most of them do enjoy coffee. But really it's about the inner workings of a startup that I'm finding out myself how to navigate my startup, and to be able to push that to students who are also trying to figure out how to run a startup, how to become an entrepreneur. I really just want to share that when I'm able to get my business up and running, and so that's my goal.
So how is ThinkHouse U helping you to develop your line and develop your really business plan?
Well, so far, ThinkHouse has really motivated me to wanting to be able to create my clothing and not just let myself stand there and wait for somebody to, include their own business money or inevitable talents to my clothing line. I want to be able to do it on my own, so that once I have an atelier, which is a team of designers who produce my clothing, I'll be able to further show what Ariane Victor means as a clothing line.
Why do you care so much about these students and seeing them grow into entrepreneurs?
So there are 4 founding partners behind ThinkHouse and HQ. All of us come from an entrepreneurial background. All of us have started companies and grown them up, and this is our way of giving back. We believe deeply as a partnership that the complex challenges that are facing our world are outpacing the innovative solutions to be able to address them. We've got to figure out a way that we get a new generation of entrepreneurial talent out there that have, again, access to these enabling environments to put those ideas into action. We've all had, tremendous we've had some good success, we've had some luck along the way, but each of us can look back and say, we didn't have the kind of support we really wished we'd had. And so now what we're trying to do is create that kind of support environment that we all wish we had had when we were emerging entrepreneurs, and now trying to make that a reality.
So next steps for you?
So we're going to continue to grow. HQ is the largest entrepreneurial community in the Southeast, which is really exciting. And as part of that, we are going to be building these living, learning communities connected to it. Our vision is that we will have, over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 years, hundreds of companies that are emerging out of HQ and ThinkHouse that have thousands of employees and are making a real lasting impact in the communities in which they are. And transform the state of North Carolina, contribute to regional economic and community development, and have a ton of fun along the way.
5 of the 7 entrepreneurial students who are participating in ThinkHouse U actually live in the ThinkHouse behind me. And they work together, they live together, they bounce ideas off each other. It's all part of a growing experience that will hopefully lead to their own entrepreneurial experience after college.